keep it on speaker view, everybody, so we can make sure that the appropriate person who's going to be speaking at the time is has your attention. So with that said, I'd welcome you all to our first procurement webinar. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is the first Business as Virtual webinar series hosted by the City of Albuquerque Small Business Office. Let me put this in view here. There we go. Give me just a moment. This is the first of many series that the Small Business Office will be launching to provide an opportunity and information for our local small business communities to learn from. I would first like to ask, like I mentioned before, the audience that if they have a question to please use the chat box function, and we'll be able to check it routinely and make sure we're answering your questions. I'd also like to give a special thanks to the City of Albuquerque Procurement Division and Purchasing for their support and information about to be shared. The presenters you are about to hear from are exceptional procurement professionals who work hard to assist businesses to gain access to city opportunities. Thank you for all your work. Now I would like to introduce the City of Albuquerque Economic Development's Director, Cynthia Jaramillo. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Great, thank you for that, David, and good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's procurement webinar. We hope the information you gain today will be an asset for your business, for your businesses. Our city's small enterprises are the fabric of our neighborhoods, and as you all know, are the backbone of Albuquerque's economy. And the City of Albuquerque Economic Development Department is here to make sure we are doing the most we can to support you and our small business community. To that end, we created the Small Business Office. The Small Business Office is intended to be a touch point for local small businesses to communicate with, seek assistance from, and learn about opportunities that the City of Albuquerque has on the horizon. The Small Business Office is a valuable resource that we hope you'll all take advantage of routinely as your business grows. I'm excited for the future of our city. Despite the pandemic, we are resilient and thriving. Again, even amid this year's unprecedented challenges, because of the courage of our small businesses, because of the persistence of our small businesses, and because of the hard work of all of our small businesses. And with that, I welcome you to our webinar series. Thank you again, and may you all have a great day.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. We really appreciate your leadership and commitment to our small business community. Now, with that, we're going to go ahead and move to the agenda. Today's agenda will be going over the Buy Local initiative. We will introduce Bonfire and share upcoming opportunities for Q2. So let's get started. First, I'd like to go over introduce the Buy Local initiative. The City of Albuquerque spends more than $400 million on goods and services each year. The city is also dedicated to spending of that $400 million for local businesses, which is a big part of the mission of the Buy Local initiative. At the core of the city's Buy Local initiative is a preference given to local vendors when submitting bids on proposals. What do we mean by local vendors? As you see on the slide, the city defines a local business as one that is headquartered and operating in the city or county limits. While only local vendors receive the 5% preference, the city recognizes that driving city spend to businesses with operations within the city can also have a big economic impact on the community. So we also capture businesses that are doing business locally. Keep in mind when we are registering to do business with when you are registering to do business with the city, be sure to tell us you are local and that you are doing business here locally because it matters. Now I would like to introduce Kathleen Onley, the City of Albuquerque Procurement Coordinator. Kathleen, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I am the Purchasing Systems Coordinator. Happy Friday. I'm happy to be here. I know Bonfire is our new procurement tool, so I just kind of wanted to go over how to access it, how to register your business, and even touch a little lightly on, how to submit your submissions. So right here is how you can access our purchasing website. Our alias is cabq.gov/purchasing. Right here is the main tool, the main button that you can go to. If you click on that, it takes you directly to Bonfire, where you can view the solicitations that are currently posted. And then that's where you can go to, register. So if we go to the next slide here, this is, I wanted to show you a quick video. It shows you how you can register for Bonfire. So it gives you the steps on how, there's two links here. The first link is where you can register, where it shows you step-by-step screenshots and explains each screen. But we'll go over the video right now and show you how you can, what the flow is on registering.
Bear with me, give me a second.
If you double click on the play button, it should.
There we go.
I don't hear the audio on that.
I know some Zoom webinars have had this issue before. I am not sure how to get the sound to play. Give me just a moment while I mess with this. Sorry, y'all, I'm not sure how we can get the sound to play. I'm messing with my control settings and I can't seem to get it to work.
Do you maybe want to have me share my screen and see if I can? Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. Let me go back. I'm sorry.
The very simple process of uploading a submission in Bonfire. We're going to start at the procurement portal page here. Right away, you can see that we have two tabs, which are Login and Open Public Opportunities. If we open this Public Opportunities page, we can see any projects that the portal owner has posted that are open to the public and currently active. But naturally, the first step you would take is to go to the Login tab here. As you can see, we have an option for existing users to log in with their email and password, but if you are new to Bonfire, you can select this option down here, asking if you're a new user. We're going to go ahead and select that, and here we get to a page to register as a new vendor on the platform. We'll quickly fill in the organization name, the vendor name, email, and password. Once we finish that, we're going to be taken to this registration page. Here we can send a confirmation email to the address we just entered earlier. Now I'm just going to head over to my email. You should receive your confirmation email relatively shortly after pressing that button. Once you do, you can confirm your account and continue completing your account. In this next step, we can input any additional information about our company and upload any requested registration documents as well. feature that I want to point out
The audio stopped, but what he's wanting to point out are the commodity codes that you can register for. So if you type in the keyword here, you have the option to choose from the list RNIGP codes that are integrated into here. So you can pick as many as you need to. That way you can receive the notifications from our posts that are specific to those codes. And then once the registration is complete, then you'll get an email giving you the confirmation that your registration is complete. And then you'll receive notifications from Bonfire itself, letting you know about any new solicitations that we have posted based off of your commodity code. This is where you can go to view the specific project. So we have, like this is an example, this is a contract project, and we have the status, the open date, the requested information, and then here is where you can submit messages down at the bottom. If you have any specific questions to that project, you can click this button on Start a New Opportunity Q&A, where you type in the subject, and then your specific message on that project itself. For example, here they're asking, does the brand of vehicle matter? And once it's sent, it's tracked over here on the left-hand side. And then that's how you can prepare your submission. Shows you how many days are remaining, the official time and closing time. That way you know when it's how much time you have to send your submission. And then this is where you upload your files for any completed forms, your proposal, rate, schedule, all-in price, anything specifically that we're asking for on that project.
I'm gonna try something here because the audio is starting to come through on my speaker. So let me know if you can hear this.
optional, and as you'll see, a green light means you have successfully submitted the file. You can also see the type of file for that piece of information right here and the amount of files you must submit. The name of your file does not have to perfectly match the name of the required information, as long as it contains the information required. Now I'm going to go one by one, submitting required files and filling out requested data. Bonfire will warn you if your file type is of the wrong type. Another note is that you can drag files directly from your desktop and drop them into this Choose File button area instead of selecting them from your computer. And lastly, we have the all-in price, which simply requires a numeric value, and then I can click Save. This option for direct data could also either be true or false or a text value. Lastly, we need to check this box, which informs me that I can't change any of my submission details once the project closes. This implicitly does tell us, though, that while the project is still open, we can go back and edit our submission as much as we want. Now, we're just going to submit and finalize the submission. This takes us to the submission receipt page. Here we will get some confirmation details, such as this confirmation code. Listed right here, and it is to this address that Bonfire will send an email with the confirmation details so that you don't have to keep returning to this page over and over. We can also download all of the files we submitted in case we need to review them later, and the send email button simply resends the email to our address with all of the information. You can then choose to return to the portal listing right away, or right underneath that, we ask for some feedback based on your experience in Bonfire. Your feedback is extremely valuable to us, and we would really appreciate it if you could take some time just to fill that out. And Lastly, you can revise your submission down here where it takes you back to the submission page, allowing you to upload any new files or swap them. And that's all it takes to make a submission in Bonfire. If you have any questions or concerns about what we went through today, please feel free to reach out to our support team.
So sorry about the technical difficulties, but that gives you kind of in a nutshell how to register. I went ahead and included the links in the chat, so it's available there. And if you have any questions or issues with your registration in Bonfire, you can contact me. My name is Kathleen Oney, and my information is on our website.
Thank you, Kathleen. I really appreciate that. And again, like I will echo the same thing. I'm not sure about the audio issues we were having, but we'll be sure to make sure everybody has that information included and we can email that out. Next, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Viola, who will be going over the Q2 contract opportunities we have upcoming and available. So with that said, Viola, go ahead and take it away.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Department of Finance and Administrative Services Purchasing Division. Thanks to Economic Development Department for having us participate in your virtual event. The areas of the city's procurement I am here to talk about is that goes through the Purchasing Division. The reason why I emphasize the fact that it's going through the Purchasing Division is that there are other opportunities within the city that have been designated to conduct other types of procurements or solicitations. I mentioned those so you are aware of all things do not flow through the Purchasing Division, and it is just a fraction of what the city actually spends or purchases. The Department of Finance and Community Services has a delegated authority to actually solicit for social services. Combined with the city's Purchasing Division and Social Services, we have in excess of 1,200 contracts at any given time. These contracts are done by competition and various allowable methodologies. But for the most part, I do want to share with you the other divisions or agencies or departments that have a delegated authority that do not specifically flow through the DFAS purchasing office. Those are Department of Municipal Development, who handle the majority of all major contracting for construction, which includes architectural engineer design and for the actual construction. Those are handled through the division and program called Capital Implementation Programs. If you're interested in those kinds of opportunities, you can check our site at www.cabq.gov and look under the Department of Municipal Development. Lastly, the Municipal Redevelopment Agency. They are very much able to conduct their own types of solicitations to find people who are helping to promote and redevelop economic revitalization throughout the city of Albuquerque. And they conduct their competition under another authority via ordinance. They can also be found, respectively, under their name, Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency, at www.cabq.gov. While you're looking at this slide, now I can tell you specifically, as Kathleen and I both are stressing today, that we're part of a larger group of how tax dollars are spent, and only the opportunity that you are looking for could exist in any of those areas. The ones I'm going to tell you about today generate from finance and administrative services. We, the city, operate on a fiscal year. Our fiscal year begins July 1st, and as you know, we are now trying to look forward into our second quarter. Although we're not through with quarter one, I wanted to make sure that you're aware that we do have some procurements that are very imminent and very close to coming out and being available for competition. So within the next 30 days from today, the ones that are listed here are going to be hitting the streets, being placed in Bonfire, and being opened and able to be used for competition. One of them that I want to make sure you understand is we are encouraging all small, local, women-owned and minority businesses to get registered as earlier provided in Kathleen's demonstration. Most of the titles here are very clear without much explanation. For example, there's drug testing, there's the title of the elections auditor. What we will be looking for at this time is it probably will be advertised as campaign finance auditor, and this is for the office of the city clerk. They are seeking an independent source for these services. The services need to be provided by a certified public accountant, a registered certified public accountant, or someone qualified in campaign finance experience. The employee wellness program is something that we are currently have going on. It would be a continuation of an initiative that has been put forward and is very important through our human resources department. So we are looking for a provider of these services and the coordination of that program. Household hazardous waste is a solicitation that is actually requested to us to manage and put the solicitation out on behalf of solid waste. Internal investigative services is a contract that will be managed by the city legal department. Personnel hearing officers are for human resources that look at the ability to resolve various kind of personnel conflict or circumstances within the city. Then we have workers' comp benefits, which probably won't be one of the ones that goes out in the next 30 days, but it is related to our Department of Finance and Administrative Services Risk Division. On the next slide, excuse me, these are soon to be released requests for bid. The prior solicitations were proposals. Our bids come out the same way as our RFPs do, but they're RFBs. And the difference here are there are different kinds of forms that are required and different kinds of tables that will be used within the Bonfire system to be responsive. One of the things regarding the request for bids naturally is a responsive participant or potential participant will be judged on what they have done to qualify on the minimum specifications, meeting all of the specifications, and potentially have the lowest price. But with that being said, some of these are going to be actually awarded to multiple vendors. So we would really want you to be mindful, and when you look at these, open up the solicitation, read them in their entirety, because each of these are going to have different qualifications and specifications and requirements that you must adhere to be deemed responsible. First of all, whenever we are looking to put something out for a formal solicitation for the city, its potential budget over its lifetime and cycle should be over $100,000. We have other methodologies that can be used as well based on our ordinance, but these are ones that are deemed more than likely that are going to be open for competition for our small minority woman-owned businesses and the general public. The ballistic vests, of course, are for APD, the ballistic body armor. There are varying types that will be requested and are going to be released in the very near future. Copying and bindery services is going to be potentially awarded to one visitor, one potential offerer, because we do have other kind of printing services, but copy and bindery has everything to do with a variety of repetitive large volume copies that may need to be bound in different ways, but it is a very important contract because our other pool of printing services has another process. This is where you have already, as a vendor, has certified what a page per cost per page would be for color copy, black and white. It's not really based on a project by project basis, but it is very definitely something that is a important part of making sure you read all the details and respond to each line. Environmental cleaning and hospitality services. This is something that is being requested by the Department of Solid Waste. It is absolutely for the downtown and the Nob Hill area currently. And so that is something for those in that industry to consider. There are going to be electric charging stations that are going to need to be installed in a turnkey fashion. Those are going to be located throughout locations specified by the city. And this is a project that we are running the solicitation for the Department of Municipal Development. Landfill disposal sites for waste construction materials. This is also going to be a various contract that is utilized by all departments. The construction materials are dirt, concrete, asphalt, wood, PVC pipe, and concrete pipe. So with that in mind, those are the kinds of things that we're looking for in a landfill disposal site. Our library janitorial services, those are very critical, especially as we're fighting the age of COVID. Those are public facilities that must always be at their best. We have 18 libraries in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. Maintenance of the art corridor. And this is going to include the medians and streetscapes. This particular solicitation is going to be considered for multiple providers. So this will depend on what is most favorable to the city and what is going to work best for us to keep that art corridor maintained with medians and streetscapes always in prime condition. Polygraph examinations, of course, are for the APD. They use those for legal purposes, and those individuals have to have the appropriate certifications. One of our next requests for bids will be the reproduction of engineering documents. The heaviest users of these contracts are aviation, cultural services, and the Department of Municipal Development. Those are for the larger drafts, large-scale engineering kind of reproductive documents that are needed for those large construction projects. Scrap tire hauling. That is one that is for the solid waste department. It has the potential of being awarded to more than one vendor, and they would be responsible for transporting the scrap tire product to the appropriate processing facilities. The pickup would be at Sierra Colorado landfill, where the tires are, I guess, put into a certain kind of destructed condition, and then that is what will be transported. Regarding the last point on this file, this is for use at our cultural services, biopark, and aquarium use. So if you have those products, if you have access and those are products that you can provide, by all means, register quickly, and those should be out sooner than later. On to the next slide. The next slide tells us what we don't have that is right immediately going to be available first thing October 1. These are things that are going to be coming up through the period through December 31st of 2020. Just like all good plans, emergencies and competing priorities tend to happen. And so the timing on these may get realigned based on other competing priorities. But this is at the time, at today, as far as we know, our plan is for these to go out before the end of the end of the quarter. And also we are getting new requests in for bids and proposals on a daily basis. As you can see, we have several. The air duct cleaning services, there's a combinations of goods and services. There are bay door maintenance repairs, the boiler service on call. Those will be multiple awards on that as well. The electrical services on call, multiple awards as well. Emergency board up could be multiple. It usually has been in the past a primary, secondary, tertiary for those emergency board ups. Those are utilized by the planning department. Greenhouse supplies is something that is needed for our biopark, our botanical gardens, and are used by our parks department. HVAC services also are multiple providers. Oftentimes those providers have to have some type of certification or authorized individual contract with manufacturers of different kinds of systems. What we also are making sure that we're getting hourly rates for licensed journeymen, and that your apprentice that are going to work on these projects, or when you are going to put in a bid, are actually enrolled in a apprenticeship program. All of those kinds of details are very much in each solicitation, but just trying to give you a little bit of information about what they do, how they work, and what the volume of work is for these contracts is what the effort is today. Landfill gas and greenhouse gas maintenance and operations is for our solid waste department. They have actual methane operations and systems at the landfills that have to be maintained and continually kept in working order. Paint and related supplies. This is actually quantities of paint that are used by our Department of Municipal Development, that are used by other departments, as well as traffic for road paint. So with that in mind, it's a variety of paint that is used in a variety of ways. We have window tinting and coating. That is for buildings, not for automotive. So that brings a different kind of bid that comes about. Now, requests for proposals are generally a lot more involved. They take a little more time because they are actually reviewed by committee, and those ad hoc committees look at the responses, review them, and score them. And those will be opportunities that are awarded to the persons or companies that score the highest, with showing that their qualifications are much greater than another company, and also the actual cost on these, which is always a critical element, carries less weight than what the qualifications are, as opposed to what it would be in a bid situation where the lowest price is usually the deciding factor. Air service provider consultants is for the aviation department, which are looking to bring in different aspects of bringing on different or new service providers for the Sunport. Biopark concessions, which is a really long-standing contract. It does usually have like a longer contract, 8 to 10 years sometimes, just because of the nature of what is done. And so all of the vendors that you see there are not city employees, but are actually a contract awarded to a company to run the biopark concessions. The RFP that is going to be done for contract production services is usually used heavily by cultural services. They are looking for ancillary engineers to help with sound at events such as our Freedom 4th, as far as any of the events that we hold around the city, with the actual concerts that are provided during the summer months. And so those are things that that contract will be working with. This distributed antenna systems concession, that has to do with the aviation department, and they're working to make sure that public safety has all of the bandwidth and extra protections that are needed to communicate within the Sunport corridor to make sure that safety and priority and better internet service is provided. So that's another contract that it will be coming out of this RFP. Electric buses are also going to be a variety of different kinds of electric buses that are going to be used by the aviation department. Food concessions as well is something that is being solicited for the Sunport. Those are always very competitive. They're very important to what the Sunport brings as a destination. And oftentimes it's very interesting to see how people have partnered and come together to put together good packages to show our local flavor for food concessions at the Sunport. On-call council services. They like to have the ability to have a predetermined set of planning consultants as they as counselors are looking at different projects. They want to have input, and so that is a pool of actual planning, architectural, city planning, or city planners that come together and want to provide services and actually are typical to respond to this one. The next two are, of course, for the aviation Sunport, for the rental car agency concessions and the rental car shuttle bus services. We have had a pilot robot sanitizer that has been used, and so potentially dependent on the outcome of the pilot, this may be something that may be going out for a request for proposal in the near future. The workers' compensation pharmacy benefit management is to manage the cost of what our pharmaceutical drugs are being charged for those who are involved in work-related injury, and we want to manage the tax dollar to make sure we're getting our very best. So we need someone to manage those benefits. So as it stands, those are the ones that we're certain of. But as mentioned previously, we are going to always run into things that are urgent that may come. And so we ask you to vigilantly always indicate as you are registering what your commodities are. Use those keywords to make sure that you are getting and are available to be notified, and then look at the bonfire application or portal often to see if there's something new and different that you did not hear of today. Right now on our website, there is still what remains with Q1. On October 1st, the new listing will be placed there, and you can always look at our purchasing website at cabq.gov to see what is current. So at this time, I am going to ask you to understand when our proposals and bids go out, it's usually on a Friday. We will advertise them in the journal, generally each Sunday under legal ads, and want to make sure that if you have questions and you haven't put them in the chat and we answer them during the Q&A session, I will get back to you. My contact information is Viola Cunningham. I am at vcunningham@cabq.gov, and I welcome speaking with you about anything. I wish you good luck. Best wishes to you all. Stay safe and healthy during this time.
Thank you so much, Viola. That was a lot of information, a little bit of overload. You know, it's very important to look at these opportunities for businesses. And even if our community who's participating, watching this webinar knows of other business owners who are perhaps in these areas of industry that we're requesting these services from, for example, scrap tire hauling is a very broad need that the city needs. And like Viola said, there's going to be multiple opportunities, or excuse me, several opportunities to have multiple vendors for some of these contracts. So it's really important that we're all participating, or at least sharing some of this information. I also wanted to take a moment to ask Viola and or Kathleen. We did have a question in the chat box before we move on I would like to address. The question is there a certification process to prove women-owned, minority, or small business?
Right at this moment, we do have a certification for pay equity, which is something that has actually does happen and is an important part of in all of our responses, which didn't get mentioned, but there is that certification. Regarding women-owned, minority, women-owned, the Department of DFAS and purchasing does not have that at this time.
Thank you. I also have an additional question that came in. It is from Blake. He asks, how do I get a copy of the current contract for the janitorial services for the libraries?
We have at the cabq.gov website a transparency portal. On that portal, you will see where it says contracts, city contracts, and you click on that link. That link will allow you to go in and enter. You can, once the actual report run comes up, you can actually click at the bottom of that and say finish, and it will display a report about 26 to 30 pages of every contract that is valid. On the left side of that column, there is a link. That link, you can, once you find what you want, you can click on that link and it will open up the actual contract header. Under the header, there is a hyperlink. You click the hyperlink and it will all be there quite visibly. If you just want to find out one specific contract, you have the ability to put in a keyword or a commodity word, or you can, if you know who the vendor has been, you can put in the actual supplier's name. The supplier's name will take you to the contract, and with that header, click that link, and you will see all of the details that are encompassed in or shown in the actual contract.
Okay, Viola, I'm going ahead and sharing really quick if we have a few minutes, because I think there was a lot of steps in that explanation. I have here shared the contract page here that was shared by Kathleen, I believe here. Can
Correct.
we walk through what you just explained so we can get some better clarity for Blake?
Okay, if you click on the blue active city contracts? The top, if you knew the vendor's name, you would be able to put it there. If you're looking for janitorial services, I would put that down in the commodity services section, right? So if you type in janitorial there,
Ooh.
Okay, go back. Oh, it's going to take you all the way back, I think, to the transparency. Okay.
Or was this janitorial one not available quite yet?
There are other janitorials which will give him an idea of what that one is. The one for the library, I think they might be, I don't want to give the wrong name. I think they might be Albuquerque, but in here you might put ABQ. Put ABQ janitorial. No spaces.
No spaces.
No. I don't know why this link isn't working. Kathleen, is there another resource that we can turn to?
I would suggest, I mean, I know it's not something that you can get offhand, but you can also submit a public records request from the city clerk's website to request the contract itself, and you'll get it within the system there. Cognos, sometimes it's under construction and sometimes doesn't work during that construction time. I'm not 100% sure. I'll double check with our Department of Technology and Innovation and see what's going on with it, and we can get back to you. But you could always go I'll provide a link as well in the chat on how to submit your records request, and you can request it that way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And like I said, everybody that's participating will be able to share out this webinar, and we actually intend to have multiple webinars so we can really narrow down and get this information out to the public. But I also wanted to share 2 more questions that had come in. The first question is from Bridget. She asks, what is the #1 issue that keeps local vendors from being paid on time? I'm not sure if this is something we could answer, or maybe we should circle around back.
We'll circle back with you on that one. I think that oftentimes it just depends on a lot of elements. It's not just one thing. So if there's a specific issue that she's aware of, I'd like to look at it more specifically to be able to respond.
Okay, so the answer in short is, Bridget, if you're still on, just go ahead and reach out to the Purchasing and Procurement Office here at the city, reach out to Viola, and we can hopefully address individual concerns, because it seems like there's several things that could be going on there. And again, Bridget, I saw your question. It looks like it came in earlier. I just noticed that it came in earlier, that we will be sharing out this live webinar. It's being recorded right now, along with all the material in an email later today, or probably early next week, depending on how fast we can get it up on our website. Okay, if that is it with our questions, I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce continue the presentation and finish up. So let me share my screen. 2 seconds. All right. So my name is David Sayers. Like I mentioned before, I am the office manager of the Small Business Office with the City of Albuquerque. The Small Business Office serves as a resource for small business owners and entrepreneurs ready to open or expand their businesses by providing help navigating systems such as permitting, licensing, and providing technical assistance to locally owned businesses. In partnership with more than a dozen leading organizations such as SBDC, West, and others, the City of Albuquerque Small Business Office is proactively developing curriculum and training like this one you're attending now, alongside with networking and one-on-one assistance. The Small Business Office works to streamline processes and promote programs that support local businesses and share information that allows access to programs to foster opportunities to succeed. Now, I know we're in COVID, but this would be an opportunity where I'd invite you to come down to the Small Business Office and we can work one-on-one. I can answer questions. We have several different facets with the Small Business Office to help small businesses. And with that being said, we already had a little Q&A session, so I'm going to go ahead and put up our contact information. If there's any more additional questions, please put them in the chat. We'll be in here for a little bit longer. And then we'll try to get those questions answered as soon as we can. If you are running late, or if you have other things you can do, we first off would like to thank you for attending, and be sure to reach out to the Small Business Office. Our contact information is here, and then we look forward to speaking with you. But otherwise, I'll stick around and hopefully Viola and Kathleen can hang around a little bit longer to answer any more additional questions that come in. Thank you again. I am not seeing very many questions coming in. Let me see what I can find here. Yeah, people are logging off. Well, Well, thank you, Viola and Kathleen. That was very good for our first procurement webinar. Hopefully we can keep doing this and keep announcing new opportunities. I'm excited.
I went on the contract page, I went back there and it's working. I guess we're just not typing in the right words.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but
I typed in workspace dynamics and it's there. So just so you guys know, it is working.
From the link, from
Yeah.
that link, yeah. I don't know, and the janitorial for them is kind of strange. But that's why I was trying to show all the other janitorials, because it's not, that's why we're soliciting it. We need some better contracts.
so I got a couple of questions coming in on the chat.
Oh, good.
The first one is I can answer. Stephanie, yes, the Zoom was recorded and we'll be sharing it out. If you had registered with your email, we will be sharing out the information we just went over today. The second question I have come in is, do you have or had you in the past had graphic design web needs as in the capacity of a contractor?
We consider graphic design, I believe, as a general service. And most of the times they are able to get those. They're not on, we don't do a solicitation for them. The dollar amount, they can get them informally by getting quotes up to, if the job isn't going to be over 100,000.
Okay. Hopefully that answered. It was for Kale X Studio. Hopefully that answered your question. If you have any more further questions, you can reach out to myself or the purchasing and procurement offices. We'll just hang around for another 1 minute or so, see if any more questions come on. Otherwise, thank you all again for joining. I see that there are 6 still attending. Let me see. Stephanie, Bridget, oh, people are logging off. So again, thank you all. Let me see. Thank you for coming. Yep, thank you. Wonderful. Doesn't look like anything else is coming in. So it looks like it's just a couple of folks left. We're going to go ahead and end this webinar. I want to thank Kathleen and Viola again, and we are also missing Haley Kadish, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, but she did an outstanding job putting together the buy local initiative outline that we had talked about today. And again, exceptional job from Viola and Kathleen. Thank you all so much for attending. Hopefully we can all do this again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, y'all.
Thank you.